We all know that social media has been a powerful tool for us to communicate. We live in a hyper-digital era where it's impossible for you not to use internet to communicate or to interact with anyone here, around you, and all around the world. But if you see, 10 years ago, people are not using hashtag for sharing their opinion, sharing their ideas, and also sharing events that are happening around us. But look at us now. In the past few years, hashtag campaign, or what is called hashtag activism, has been something that people use to promote, to share, and to share their ideas, basically. But one question that intriguing for me is, how do you use this hashtag? Is it for just fun? Is it for just sharing your funny ideas? Or do you have a good cause that you can share, that you want to invite people to join? There is some example that we recently take notes, whereby hashtag is used for a campaign that is really impactful for the people around the world. Nigeria, one of the largest countries in Africa, there is one boarding school that has hundreds of girls inside. If you know that in Nigeria, one of the problems is electricity. So students like you, they have difficulties in studying and learning, so they have to use candles for studying. So one night in this boarding school in a rural area in Nigeria, militant group kidnapped this girl, almost 276 girls. This militant group called Boko Haram. And this event has triggered a lot of concerns from around the world. In April 2015, there was one single tweet from a lawyer in Nigeria using the hashtag of "Bring Back Our Girl." Who's familiar with that? So, most of you know and familiar with this. So you know that from only one single tweet from a lawyer in Nigeria, he could get 500,000 of retweets in only 1 month in 2014, and by now it has been reposted and shared in 2 million posts of sharing in social media. It even attracted attention from country leaders, actors and actors from Hollywood. And interestingly, as you know that Nigeria, one of Nigeria's biggest issues is electricity. This pressure from social media with this hashtag "Bring Back Our Girls" have somewhat made the Nigerian government to give more electricity, to have more electricity available in their countries. So this is one of the examples that how hashtag is very powerful and how one single tweet can cause different impact, not only to one life, but to life around the world. One thing that I learned personally, I'm a communication practitioner. I'm familiar with social media, but honestly, in the last 1 week, I learned a new thing about social media and how powerful hashtag is, and how one idea spread, one hashtag could create a movement. Last week, we had this terrorist attack in Jakarta, January 14. Maybe some of you or most of you were at school, so you didn't follow what's happening, during that day. It was 10 o'clock or 10:30 a.m. in the morning when we had that news about there was a bomb attack in Sarinah at Jalan Tamrin. I think it was one of the biggest attack in Jakarta since the Marriott hotel bombing in 2009. People were so afraid, they're so scared. I even decided to stay at home, not going anywhere, because we believe that it is so scary to go outside. If I watched television all day and I saw that, all the efforts to get this terrorist, it took the police hours. And I follow the news in social media. From 10:30 in the next 4 hours, the hashtag that was used is Pray for Jakarta. Because people were afraid. People were angry because at that time, in less than 1 hour, there was also a false information about another bombing in 6 different areas in Jakarta, which turned out to be false. But later on, within 4 hours after the first attack in Sarina, the first bombing, in social media there is a shift of discussion, of focus from Pray for Jakarta to Kami Tidak Takut. In English, it means we are not afraid. So, what caused that? How can we shift so quickly from Pray for Jakarta, meaning that we're very concerned, we're afraid, we're scared, to Kami Tidak Takut, or we are not afraid? So there's one tweet or one post in Facebook and other social media platforms saying that, or inviting people that you should not post or respond negatively on the bombing, because that's what the terrorists want, to create fear, to make you paralyzed because of the fear that they created. So you don't want to be their free buzzer for the terrorists. So if you want to help people in Jakarta, help people in Indonesia, you should do a positive campaign. And that's why there is a shift from Pray for Jakarta to We Are Not Afraid. So within only less than 12 hours, there's a huge shift of focus. That post was reposted 100,000 of times by netizens or by Indonesian, especially Jakartans on that day. And that shifted people's mindset from talking about the negativity, talking more about positive. I'm going to tell you a little bit later, it's not only positive, but also funny stuff, even hilarious. So from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night, there were a huge shift. If you can see, so first it's bombing in Sarina, about the gun shooting, and people post hashtag about Pray for Jakarta, but after that single post that is viral and throughout Indonesia, I believe, it got shifted to We Are Not Afraid. So people start talking about anything that shows that they are not afraid. And the focus is, and the story is amazing. It's inspiring, it's funny and witty, and again, it's even hilarious. Some of Indonesian and Jakarta, they post pictures on street vendors who were, only like 100 meters away from the incident, still selling food. Or even like they come from the area far from Sarina and they go there because they know there was a crowd. It's a business opportunity. And if you can see, there's a tank there with military people, and behind that there's a mango seller selling that to the army. And this guy, the satay vendor, he was so famous on that day. He was discussed, mentioned, retweeted with this hashtag of Kami Tidak Takut, because Indonesian believe that this is actually what you call as jihad. Jihad in Islam or in Muslim terms is a war that you fight against the non-believers. But the concept is radically misinterpreted to something that is violent. That's why you have the terrorists here. So I think this is inspiring, because people say that terrorism is not jihad. Jihad is about these vendors, these people who's regardless, police and shooting with the terrorists, they're still there. They're still, doing business to make them a living for their family. And we don't stop there. Kami tidak takut, or we are not afraid, is developed and got viral into so many stories. From, keep calm and bakar your sate, to, we're not afraid, but we're just concerned that we're still far away from payday. Or even we're not afraid, but we're a bit concerned that if someone tells me that I gain weight. And there were so many memes here, during that day, only within less than 12 hours, that made people shifted from afraid, concerned that you need to pray, and then, being paralyzed because of the fear that created by the terrorists, to something that is more like business as usual. I was there sitting in front of the TV, 4 o'clock, saying like, what is it? The police are still chasing the terrorists, and yet they're talking about this. Even further, this is one of the comments that we have in social media. Apparently, we have more graphic designers in Jakarta. Calling it, one of the most busiest city in the world. Yes, yet we still have the time to make this kind of design. It gets even more hilarious. So, from Pray for Jakarta, how many casualties, how many victims, and how many terrorists was chased, they shifted, kami tidak takut, into an attention to the policeman who's chasing the terrorists. So apparently there were a few policemen that are handsome on that day were captured anywhere, everywhere, and on television and also on social media. So people are talking about, who's this policeman? Is his name Krishna Mukti? Apparently not. Is his name Rino? And then for a few hours they thought, yeah, it was Rino. Oh, he's very cool, he's very handsome. And then the next few hours, no, it's not Rino. But who cares? The hashtag shifted into kami naksir, or we had a crush. We had a crush on that police. Can you believe? And it went on seriously for hours. And people start to forget about this incident while praying for the victims and have a concern for the casualties. But Jakartans, Indonesian, they move on so quickly, and they reject to be paralyzed by the fear created by the terrorists. And it goes further. So there was policemen from Polda Metro Jaya, from Jakarta police station, who were captured in television, shooting on the terrorists. They're wearing Gucci shoes and Coach bag. And you know how online and e-commerce has been trending in Indonesia, right? So people, only within hours, they created this meme saying that, you want that bag, you want that shoes, call this number. Who's not familiar with Gojek? Who's not familiar with Gojek? Everyone is familiar with Gojek. So apparently on that day, there was a lady here. She was in that police box, in that police station, with his brother when the police station was exploded. So she was injured, and the Gojek driver voluntarily helped her, take her out from the police box and get her out of the way. This was captured in social media first, and then it got viral, and then it was covered by, I can say, almost all national television in Indonesia. We know this guy, and he's not been working for 4 days because he's busy, doing interview with the media. Seriously. And it all again started by one post in social media. I reposted, but until now I don't know who that guy was, who reminded us, hey, don't be afraid, don't follow what they want. Don't spread the negative. We should do positive campaign. We should not be afraid. And that's what shifted, that makes a huge shift, only less than 12 hours. The next day, it's like business as usual. And it got picked up by also the media, international and national media, on how they appreciated how Indonesian handles this crisis, so-called crisis. Even more, in Business Indonesia, one of the leading national business newspaper, it got to a headline that the terror failed to shake the market. So what is the key takeaway here? We all use social media. I do it for fun mostly, because I'm too stressed out because of my work, so I use social media for fun. But honestly, personally, learning from the past experience in that 1 week, where I sat down in front of TV for more than 6 hours, I learned that how powerful a hashtag is. And any of you, any of us, if you have good thoughts and good cause, even from one single tweet, you can create an impact. You can invite people to join your good cause, which has been proven last week in Jakarta. So it's up to us to make a choice, to create a change, to create a chance that enable change that we see in the world. Thank you.